My goal score is a 172, and I plan on taking it in next June.
Fantastic. So we've got some time, about 8.5, 9 months or so. Your goal aiming for 172. Have you taken any practice tests yet?
I haven't.
Okay, cool. So we're starting pretty early in the process then. Any particular challenges or struggles that you're facing right now as you embark on your LSAT journey?
Not at this time. I think I'm just trying to get over the hurdle of like anxiety of like what to expect.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, my biggest thought to get over the anxiety of what to expect is to just expose yourself to what the LSAT is. And that could mean that you take a practice test, a cold diagnostic to see where you stand, to get the lay of the land in terms of the different sections, the different question types. There's a lot of different types of questions on the LSAT, and logical reasoning is a bit of a grab bag. For example, you have 15 or so different types of questions: strengthen, weaken, flaw, necessary assumption, sufficient assumption, and so on. Then you have reading comprehension as well. Then we move on from there to working on pacing and time management with individual sections. And finally, pulling it all together with full length timed practice tests. My first thought is sometimes we have anxiety because of it's a fear of the unknown. We haven't had the exposure to even know what it's going to look like. And so my first thought is, could you maybe consider taking a practice test just so at least you know what you're dealing with?
Yeah, that's definitely something I plan on doing just to see where I'm at too.
Okay, cool. My other thought though related to that is that I wouldn't want you to over index on the results of that practice test, because it's going to tell you what you already know, which is that you have not yet learned the language of the LSAT. And so the cold diagnostic result is probably not going to be close to your goal, but that's okay. Just like if you were to take a diagnostic in a language that you don't speak, it wouldn't go well because it's unfamiliar. So we take the test just to get the lay of the land, see where you stand. That way you know, okay, well, if it's a 130, there's a lot of work to do. If it's a 160, not nearly as much work to do. But regardless, it just tells you that you haven't done the work yet, but you can. And you've got time. You're not in a rush. I wish more folks planned ahead like you. You've got 8.5, 9 months. Really, anything's possible between now and then. And looking at your schedule, I mean, how many hours a week do you think you could devote to this between now and then?
I would say I could dedicate around like 5 to 6 hours realistically a week, but
Okay.
definitely more if I can fit it.
Good. Yeah. I mean, I think that for now, because your timeline's a bit longer than average, 5 to 6 hours a week is totally fine for now. I mean, maybe you'll want to ramp it up a bit as you get closer and get more into this, but for now, to keep it light, I think is fine. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We don't want you to burn out on this. And I think to 20 hours a week over 9 months is probably just more than you need. But 5, 6 hours a week for now, just to slowly dip your toes in the water. If you want to take that practice test to see what you're dealing with, I think that's a good move. But again, don't over index on it. And then you could slowly start joining the live small group sessions that we offer in the evenings. You could watch some of the course lesson videos. We made a study plan for you as well. So you start following that plan just to go through each section, each question type to build that foundation from the ground up. Because you're going to see when you take your practice test, there's a lot of different types of questions, but we break it up systematically, step by step, bit by bit, so you're not getting overwhelmed trying to do it all at once. So, for example, the study plan is going to have you say, look at some lessons on must be true questions in the course platform. Then you'll drill must be true questions, go on to the next type like strengthen or weaken questions, do the same thing. Eventually, once you've covered all the different question types in logical reasoning, you then do some individual timed sections to work on your pacing, which is basically how you allocate your time over the course of the section. Then finally, as testing gets closer, you'll do full length timed practice tests. And you'll want to do at least 10, maybe 15 of those. In your case, maybe more because you have a higher goal and you have more time. You could even do 20 if you wanted or more. It's up to you. But I think that starting early is the best move you can make. And you're showing up asking the right questions. I think you're in a pretty good place.
Okay, that sounds good. And I have a quick question. So
Yeah.
I know you mentioned that I should try taking a practice test. Do you want it, or do you expect me to like take like the one that's closest to what the real one is, like timed and everything, or?
So if you want to get an accurate read of where you stand, I would do it timed. But again, like, don't be discouraged by whatever the results are, because even for someone who's built a foundation, the first test typically isn't as close to their goals they want it to be because endurance is real. To do 4 sections, 35 minutes with only a 10-minute break in the middle is a tall order. It's why people struggle with the LSAT. Aside from just the content, it's also the time management and the endurance. But if you want to get a realistic depiction of where you would stand if you took it today, the official one today, I would do that practice one timed. I wouldn't do 158, which is the newest numbered exam in Law Hub, because I'd want you to save that for later. But maybe you do an exam in the 140s, for example, just a random one. Doesn't even matter which one. You get 4 exams on Law Hub for free. You get more with Law Hub Advantage, which I recommend getting, of course. But just do one exam, see where you're at. It'll give you both exposure to the timing, the pacing, endurance, as well as just the content itself. But I'm really just want you to do this so that you don't fear the unknown, but you have some exposure to the known, and hopefully it isn't as bad as you expect or think it might be. And then you just say, okay, well, I know what it is at the end of the road. Let me devote myself to this to build the path to get there. And that's what your personalized study plan is going to do for you. It's going to help you build that foundation first, then do timed work, then do endurance work with full exams later.
Okay, sounds good. Sorry, some couple of follow-up questions.
Yeah, shoot, please.
Yeah, thank you. So the first one being for the practice test, on LSAT Unplugged, on our portals, do we have like practice tests available to kind of see where we are? And then also, just to clarify, you recommend taking it before even like, I guess learning about like the foundation or like the fundamentals of what's on the LSAT?
Yeah, great question. So we're going to build study plan. We're going to build practice tests into your LSAT study plan. We're going to allocate them for you between now and test day. We don't do practice tests from the beginning, though. Usually, we usually start with doing questions by type for drilling so that you can better understand the proper perspective from which to view each section and each question type. And then as it gets closer, we'll move from drilling by type to doing individual sections to work on your pacing. And finally, full exams to work on your endurance. And because Law Hub is the only platform that replicates exactly what you'll see on test day, we're going to have you do your practice tests in Law Hub as well. Students typically drop 5 to 8 points from the practice test to the actual. And part of that is because they haven't properly simulated test day conditions. And part of that includes the interface being different on some third-party platform versus Law Hub. So we're going to have you do everything in Law Hub directly so that you're acclimated to the format and the functionality of the tools and everything like that. And was there another question? Remind me what the other one was.
No, that was pretty much it. I think I guess maybe more clarity would be needed. Would be on well, actually, no, I think you kind of answered it. So just to make sure I got it right, practice tests will be integrated within the actual course itself. But as of right now, if I wanted to take one, would you recommend doing that like by today or whenever, like before I start doing the actual courses?
Yeah, so that brings me back to the question I was going to address. So I don't normally recommend that students do practice tests before having studied because it can burn through practice material. But if you wanted to do a single practice test just to establish a baseline to see where you stand today and help you potentially reduce or mitigate some of the anxiety you might have around the unknown nature of this mysterious black box called the LSAT, I would have you do one just to see what you're dealing with. If doing that one feels like a bit much, you could even just do a single logical reasoning section so that you get some exposure or familiarity with the nature of what they're asking you to do. So you'll see, okay, well, there are 25 arguments in logical reasoning, and there are 4 reading comp passages in the reading comp section. And so you'll get a sense of what is the nature of the type of language they're throwing at you. And then you'll get a sense of your ability to navigate and evaluate it. But that's it. Just maybe just one or even just a couple sections just to see where you're at. But then dive into the course material, go through the lessons, follow the study plan, and then you'll naturally be exposed to practice questions over the course of the plan.
Okay, and for this first one, if I wanted to take it, do you have something available for that before like doing it within the courses, or do we have to go to Law Hub to use one of those?
Yeah, just go into Law Hub. I mean, Law Hub has 58 numbered exams in there. You get 4 of them for free, and then you get the rest when you do a Law Hub Advantage subscription. Well worth it. And then I say pick one of them in the 130s or 140s. You could just say 140 for simplicity. Do prep test 140. Do it timed if you want to get a real accurate baseline, or do a random section if you just want to see what it's like, just for exposure. That's really it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. You answered all my questions.
Awesome, Michelle. Anything else comes up, just reach out, let me know.
Thank you.